Good morning. I want to talk about, excuse me, let me just, 4, 3, 2, 1. Diets. Talk a little bit more about diets because it's a broad topic and people have a lot of questions and there's a lot of misunderstanding and misinterpretation out there over something that is relatively simple. There are many, many ways to go about it and do things, and many, many ways will work. They really will. But all ways don't work equally as well. And for different individual people, depending on your goals, your individual goal, and yeah, there's a big difference. There's a big difference in what I demand from a diet and what I consider to be success than what, say, somebody that's just severely obese and in really poor health and not necessarily accustomed to even going to the gym. They're not even into any of this kind of thing. They don't even watch YouTube fitness necessarily at all. There's a regular person. Now, their goals and what they consider to be success, what they're going to demand from a diet to deliver that, could be structured completely differently, and it should be, than what I'm going to do for me, what I'm going to do. So, diets, they're an individual thing. I mean, and like I said, so many different things work. You could just take one diet out of the whole pile of shit that works, and you could say, this diet will work for pretty much most anybody. And yeah, there are diets like that that probably will. But the whole point I'm trying to make is they don't all deliver results that are going to be tailored or suit specifically your needs or what you require, what your goals are and aspirations for your physique, right? Because they're all different. Everybody don't want to look like me, you know. So what I do is different than what, Joe Blow down the road is just working stiff, and he's overweight and he's obese and he just wants to stay alive and take care of his family. What he's going to do could be a whole different thing than it should be. Having said that, on the other extreme, when you get into YouTube fitness type of things, and I swear I'm not putting anybody down, I'm not raking anybody over the coals, not pissing on anybody else's approach. Look, I personally, myself, I don't have a horse in the race. It's not going to hinder my game or slow my roll in any way. So if you care about this advice and want to hear it, then watch the video. If you already think you know it all and you don't want to hear it, don't watch the video. Simple as that. You don't agree with me? I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't slow my roll. You understand? I'm still here. And I'm always going to look like this or better. So, and always have. So it doesn't matter to me. If you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. But what I am aware of and have seen are people sometimes get linked up with guys out there that they would consider to be some kind of guru and first off, let me tell you this, that's bullshit. There are as many different kinds of people that can get you healthy and fit as there are different approaches that can get you healthy and fit. So it's not, nobody has a corner of the market. A lot of guys, they maybe specialize in one area and they're awesome at that, but they could really not be worth a damn outside of that little teeny scope, from within which they function normally. What I mean by that is there are guys out there that, and this would be a red flag to me for most people, if you go and you have somebody help you with a diet, and corresponding to the diet that they compose for you, however they do their thing, whatever the meal plan or diet plan is that they give you, if they give you a schedule of substances, controlled substances, that you need to take along with that to work in conjunction with the diet, synergistically with the diet, that's a red flag to me. That's a red flag to me for numerous reasons. Number one, how much does the person actually understand and know about real nutrition? For the average person, what do they really know? How much do they really know? Right? If their diet can't stand on its own legs, its own 2 feet, and serve the purpose without having to add in all these controlled substances. And I've seen extremes, and surprisingly, I've seen people write diets and have a list of drugs that to them they think is very moderate, but in the real world, right, grassroots, real world bodybuilding, like most of us are in the garages, like I normally say, in the basements and all this other horse shit, right? For us, it's way too much. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It's insanity. It's insanity to take multiple compounds and different various things just to run a diet for a scheduled time from here to here, and you expect what result? What do you expect to achieve in that time frame? Okay, now, so you throw all this gear in there so you can do it. So that's the first red flag: is what does this person actually understand about nutrition and dieting? Well, why can't they write a diet that can stand and work on its own? I don't care if you're, you can just be a natural, regular person. Like, that's what the majority of people are. That's the majority of people. That's the majority of people. And we can diet, it's not, doesn't require some kind of mystical alchemy, mixing up some kind of brew in a pot that you have to inject or swallow alongside of the diet to be able to get into shape. That's illegal, actually. Then there are people, older guys like myself. If you're on some test, that's fine too. It's awesome. I don't care. I don't have a horse to race. I am. I'm very, very low dose because I'm almost 57 years old. So, and all the little busters and haters out there, the world's not really how you think it is in this little teeny small category of life called bodybuilding or muscle building. If you go back and look, I mean, I was off completely for 9 months. I've been off completely for longer. And I was off completely once for 3 years. Completely. And in that 9-month time frame, I'm still pretty damn big. I'm still pretty big. I'm still pretty muscular. I just felt like crap. I literally just felt like crap. So that's really my number one motivation for going back on. And you know what? If it makes it a little easier for me to stay in shape or get into shape or to build muscle or to retain muscle, then that's just an extra added benefit for me at this stage of the game. That's not the priority. It's not the primary reason why, all right? It really isn't. When you get this old, you'll probably realize it too, but the reality is if you're one of these little busters or haters, you probably won't be around. I mean, you'll be around, but you'll have moved on to something else. You're just visiting. This is not your life. So the other problem with diets that people might write for you that have a whole schedule of substances to take alongside with that is what happens at the end of the diet when you get to wherever it is you're going to get to. What happens? I'm going to tell you what happens. You can't sustain that condition. It's not a sustainable outcome because you had to use all this crap, all this peripheral bullshit to get there, which we're trying to improve health, not compromise health. Regardless of what anybody says, if you got to do all that, you're kind of maybe that's not really the road to improving health necessarily. But if it took a bunch of crap like that to get you to here, to this point, now what happens? Diet's over, it's all done. Can you continue that unto infinity for the rest of your life to maintain that condition? Can you just keep taking these substances and chemicals? And do you think that's healthy? Do you think that's realistic? Do you think that's sustainable? It's not. For most working class people, that we have responsibilities, full-time physical jobs, families, bills, mortgages, all these things that most normal adult people as we get older have. You don't have time for your life in that. You don't have the time for it, and you're at a different maturity level, to be quite honest and frank, because you need to hang around a while because other people are counting on you. So you're not going to be so selfish as to just haphazardly risk your health like that. So that's one thing to ask yourself. Is this diet that I'm doing and running right now, will this be sustainable? Will my results be sustainable? Can I maintain this afterwards? Ideally, I believe in the old adage, biblical adage, that give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats the rest of his life. All right? That's what I believe. So I believe that by the time you get to the end of your diet, whatever that allotted time frame is that you're working with someone within, by the time you get to the end of that, you should understand thoroughly how you got there, why you got there, what worked, what didn't work, and you should actually pay attention and be on board and learn, your body. Learn to recognize and read the feedback and become much, much more familiarized with how your body actually works in relation to diet and nutrition. Diet is not a title that you give something you do temporarily to change your body. Diet is literally how you eat. It's what you eat and what you consume just during your period of life, just while you're alive. That's your diet. What does your diet consist of? It consists of whatever it is you're eating on a day-to-day basis, whatever it is you're eating or drinking on a day-to-day basis. So diet, you need to get away from the idea of thinking a diet is some kind of a temporary fix thing. What I prefer to do is to try to take people on a road that it's going to be a little more intense in this time frame because we only have this time frame, and we're really trying to do, in some cases, triage work. Some cases not. Some cases almost triage work with a person. But nonetheless, by the end of that, if they have, there's no exceptions in the little time frame that somebody works with me. I don't have cheat days. It's not a long enough period of time for that to be required yet. We don't need to do that in that period of time. I've never had that have to happen in that shorter period of time. Eventually, yeah, you would do something like that, but not in a little teeny period of time. So when people get to the end of the thing, if they decide, I've refrained from all this now, I want to take a break, man, I've had enough, I'm not accustomed to this, to exercising this kind of discipline over what I eat, and I want to get a little looser with it. Okay, well, you know that, and you know what the repercussions of that is, and that's what you're electing to do, and it's fine and well, but you also know how to veer back on course if your conditioning, your physical appearance, whatever have you, starts to get too far out of the scope of what's acceptable to you now. You understand? So you need to learn a different way to live and a different approach to your daily diet. And that's what we hope to accomplish. That's really the best case. That's what we want to happen. And as your experience unfolds, you're going to be learning things. You're going to be understanding things. And you'll be able to carry the ball there after yourself. You don't need anybody else to tell you something else. And once you understand that, you can make analogies and you can figure out other diet patterns and approaches from there if you are so inclined. But I try to make it realistic, sustainable. I believe that that's the way to go, whether it's me or whether it's anybody else. And I'm getting ready to shut the diet thing down myself. I'm only going to run so many more diets. Then I got to cut it off so they can all run their course, so I can get back to my day job. And then, of course, I don't have time for this like that. But it doesn't matter, if it's next year, the year after, or if it's now. You decide to make a change and to use nutrition to improve your health and condition. And if you need assistance with that or not, just consider that when you're putting this diet together. If you're going to take shortcuts as far as you're going to have crutches and you're going to have chemical assistance and unnatural assistances that you're not going to be able to reproduce and just roll on indefinitely, it's not sustainable, then take that into consideration when you're considering the end result, your end game, and where you're going to go from there. Now, maybe you're in such bad condition that you're so desperate you're going to do whatever it takes to get to this point and then deal with it from there, not faulting that, not putting you down for that in any way, shape, or form. When people diet for shows, we do things in shorter periods of time, and in many cases, people will do whatever it takes to get into condition at that period of time, right? But it's not that they don't know any better. Most competitive people in physique competitions, they know what they're doing as far as they understand that they're not going to walk around there after the rest of their lives looking like they did on contest day. So that's a whole different reality than the expectations in the real life day-to-day plight of the average person. So that's the other thing I want to get across here. A few points, but the main thing is, if you're looking to get into condition and you're going to do it with diet and nutrition and you're learning things as you go, just consider that you want to learn enough that you're going to be able to sustain and maintain health and a good physical condition if that's what you're after. So you have to have a plan for that. You need to have a plan for that or an understanding of that. And then whatever you do to get there, that's your business. But once you get there, just have it, be aware, be conscious of the reality that unless you plan to continue what you're doing for the rest of your life, are you going to be able to maintain that? Have you learned anything from it actually? So that's the biggest thing. Just something to think about, folks. All right, that's it for me. Let me get out of here. I'm sorry I haven't posted a lot lately, but I've been very busy trying to keep up with things. But I'll try and make up for it. You guys take care. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend.